All right, I'm giving Campbell the word, and then I think he'll hit the button, and we'll get started.
Oh, I need to get coffee.
Yeah, go get coffee. I need more coffee. Oh, we're live. We're live now. He hit the button.
Yay!
Hey!
Hey,
Oh my
everybody.
God! They
This
can
is
see
crazy.
us.
We're getting alive,
I know.
Hi.
Welcome, everyone, to the X-Men 97 cast chat for the next hour. Are we here for an hour or an hour plus? I don't even know. How long are we here for, Jennifer?
An hour. We're
An
here
hour.
for an
Okay.
hour.
So for the next hour, we're going to be
Yes.
chatting with the cast, having fun,
Yes.
hanging out, answering questions, and having the best time possible. Thanks to everyone that is tuning in. I am so wildly excited. Let's go ahead and do a quick roll call about who is here, and then we'll go ahead and get started with all sorts of fun questions. We have Allison Seeley-Smith, the voice of Storm.
Hey.
We have
Good to be
Matthew
here.
Watterson, the voice of Magneto. We have JP Carliak, the voice of Morph, reporting from a Starbucks. We have AJ Lacazio, the voice of Gambit.
Hello.
We have Guy
all waiting.
Augustini, the voice of Sunspot. We have Lenore Zan, the voice of Rogue. We have Adrian Huff, the voice of Nightcrawler. Mr. Isaac Robinson Smith, the voice of Bishop. And Jennifer Hale, the voice of Jean Grey, Goblin Queen, so on and so forth. Madeline. The roles never end with Jennifer Hale.
Who am I? What am I? Who am I?
I know, so many different personalities. And I am the X-moderator. I am Ash. I'm a huge X-Men fan. I'll give like a 10-second anecdote before we get started. I was telling the cast, like many of you that are watching this, the X-Men was so wildly special to me as a kid. I got my first X-Men comic when I was about 9 years old. It was X-Men 210. I still remember the cover. It was during the Claremont era. I opened it up and my life was changed. A few years after that, the X-Men animated series came out, and I would sit up every single time it was on and record every single episode and press pause on my VHS recorder when the commercials came on so that I didn't have any commercials. I had stacks of VHS cassettes that are still stashed away somewhere in my parents' house. I watched them so many times that, the tapes wore out. And there are many, many children that are now old guys like me that have those same tapes stashed away in their parents' houses. And we're all so wildly thankful that this show is back. It is a weird thing that happened. It is a great thing that happened. And we are so just incredibly stoked that this is something that exists now. And this cast that's here with me today has done such a beautiful job of bringing these characters that are so beloved back to life and back into our lives. And it's introducing them to a whole new generation. So I'm not going to applaud into my microphone because that's bad mic etiquette, but I'm applauding you and saying sincerely, thank you. I have nerd chills and goosebumps right now because you guys were my childhood and I'm sitting here with you, which is just nuts. So thank you.
Thank you, Ash.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
I love when you kids say young old guys like me. It's describing yourself as old guys, old folks. I'm like, okay, 30 years, pal.
There you go. So we're going to start out with some questions. If we have time at the end, we're going to do some fun line readings, which is always a blast. So if you're watching online right now, if you're watching later, stick around to the end, and we're going to have the cast do a performance, which is always one of my favorite things to watch because you get to kind of peel the curtain back and see some really cool stuff. I want to start with a general question for everyone. Where were you when you first heard that the X-Men animated series was coming back, and what was your initial reaction? You guys are so well mic trained that you're not going to talk over each other. I love it. I love it. So who wants to go first?
Who wants to go first?
I'm going to pick on you, AJ.
I was out here. I was here.
Oh,
yes, pick on AJ.
Pick on AJ.
With AJ. Okay.
I have the least interesting story. I found out here in this little booth where I was just like, what? I thought it was for a mobile game or something when we got the initial auditions. And then slowly as I read more, I was like, oh, this is a show. And then I started getting very excited in addition to being like, I need to be part of this somehow.
Right.
Yeah, I was in this little box, this little red coffin. when I found out.
I did hear a fun story about you, that you were a massive fan as a kid yourself.
Yes, still am.
And even took French classes due to your love of Gambit, and the fact that now that you get to play the character, what was that like?
Surreal. I mean, the French class wasn't the end of it. It was the fact that when we got to choose a name, I chose Remy, and we didn't need to choose a last name, but I chose Remy LeBeau, and I would sign all my tests Remy LeBeau, or homework, which my teacher thought was so charming. She's like, "Oh, Remy the Handsome," and I was like, "Yeah." I'm not a massive X-Men nerd. But yeah, I'm still coping with it. This is all very, very surreal to look at, the OG cast and then all us newcomers is very weird. And JP in a Panera Bread. I love it coming to walk past you again.
JP's joining us from the road, which we greatly appreciate.
Yes.
Allison was.
Yes, Allison, sorry,
Allison's
I was
story.
picked on. So.
Oh no.
I was out here. I live on Manitoulin Island, which is the largest freshwater island on the planet, and we're about 5.5 hours northwest of Toronto. So I live on a farmstead, and so my life when somebody emailed me and started saying Disney's looking for you. They're doing the X-Men again, because I hadn't been a part of any of the scuttlebutt. I hadn't done any of the cons at this point, so I had no idea that there were even rumors that this thing was going to happen again. So I was probably in the middle of feeding either the chickens or the pigs or something, and then I come inside and there's this email, Disney's looking for you, and my reaction was sure they are, of course. And I figured it was spam, and I ignored it completely. And then the guy reached out to me again, and I went, well, this is weird. I'm gonna let my agent sort this one out. And yes, and then the rest is history. The audition, the this, the that, and it moved from there. But it was absolute incredulity. It just didn't make sense.
Yeah. Lenore, can you mirror that? What was your experience like being an original cast member and hearing that this was something that was brewing in the background?
Well, we did not know anything about it until I got, again, an email from Mike Perez, actually, who's another agent for Comic-Cons, who had brought some of us together about 5 years ago into Texas and said, can we do a reunion of sorts? And a bunch of us went to Texas and we saw each other for the first time in like 25, 30 years. And at that time, we had such a good time and we loved meeting the fans. And we said, wouldn't it be nice if somebody would buy the rights to the show and reboot it and bring us all back again. And we did a little toast and we said, let's put it out there to the universe that this is what we want to manifest happening. And so, 5 years later, I got this email again, like Allison, from from actually the same agent saying, hey, Lenore, Disney is trying to track you down. And I'm in Nova Scotia on the east coast of Canada, close to Boston, Provincetown, somewhere around there. We're close to that. And I thought it was a prank too. I thought it was just a joke. And I said, well, if it's real, if it's serious, yeah, give them my phone number. And then I got a call from the casting director, who's now our voice director, Meredith Lane, saying, yes, Disney's doing a new show. She wouldn't say what it was, but they're very interested in having you audition for it. Would you be interested? And I said, well, of course, if this is legit, absolutely. So she sent me the sides, the script, and it was rogue. It didn't have her name on it, but they were lines I had already done back in the 90s. So that's when I started to twig on what was happening. And I got a little bit excited, but, again, you kind of learn to let's see what happens. Let's see what unfolds,
Yeah.
Wisdom and time. And so that was how it all started. And sure enough, but maybe a month later, I got another message from her saying the producers loved it. They want to meet with you. We had a Zoom meeting with Bo DeMeo and Charlie Feldman and Meredith. And then they said, Lenore, we just love your voice. We've been fans forever. And would you please come back and play Rogue again on our show?
Wow.
So sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Then
wonderful.
I got excited. Yeah.
That's really exciting. It's
Yeah.
actually a good segue. When I was first watching X-Men the animated series and when it was first airing, social media didn't exist, which is hard for a lot of people that are probably watching right now to realize that there was no social media. Like, we would watch the episodes and then go to our elementary and middle school classes and talk about it endlessly in the lunchroom and things like that.
Oh.
Now that there is social media and you can actually experience the fandom, what has that experience been like for you all now that season 1 is over and we're kind of moving into season 2?
Maybe I'll start on that one just because,
Sure.
Yeah, you're right. We were in a vacuum back in the 90s. We would go into the studio, we would do our work. We had a lot of fun together. We really bonded. And then we go drinking afterwards. We had, as I said, the fun continued. But we had no contact with the fans. And we talked about the fact that Fox got a lot of fan mail for us, but we never received it. So that's kind of sad. But fast forward to today, we are able to watch it in real time, seeing it unfold, how the fans are reacting. And it's so much fun, and fun to be able to then react and act with them and talk to them. And AJ and Matthew and I, when the whole love triangle was happening with, Gambit and Magneto and Rogue, it was so much fun. And the little memes that were being created and us kind of teasing each other online. It just was like night and day. It was so much fun. And I'm just so grateful to be back.
You guys had watch parties too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the fans. Yeah.
So cool. That's so very cool.
Yeah.
How about anybody else? Anyone else have any like really interesting fan experiences that really stand out?
I mean, I would say, as the non-binary cast member, yeah, it's been so impactful just to have so many queer people write to me or come up to me. When we did our panel at WonderCon, I just had so many people come up to me saying how much it meant to them to have this character on screen, which is kind of amazing. Just we don't talk about it in the show. Like, it's not an integral plot point or anything. It's just he just is this character, and that alone just means so much to people. So that's been huge. It's been just amazing to play a character that has this much impact.
And I follow JP on that because, well, firstly, he said it before everybody, joined, but, JP was saying like how he didn't realize how, it was going to have this impact that we're having right now. And it's like the word that AJ used, surreal. It's been that way for me. One of my best friends was like, you have no idea what you got yourself into. I really did not, until I was going to the premiere and I saw the line of cosplayers for like, I don't know how long. And, but it's been so wonderful to get so much, feedback of like the importance of, Latino representation, from my, people in Brazil. And it's been just so wonderful. And I feel so lucky, so grateful. And it's been such a joy and such a wonderful experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really, somebody was going to talk. I don't know.
No, it's all you. It's all you.
You were.
Adrian, go. Were you going to talk?
Yeah. I was trying to think of something. But the whole opening when we were down in Los Angeles, and the El Capitan Theater, and where some of us are in the Roosevelt Hotel, and just walking down and seeing that lineup of people, and I had, as a cast member, had reserved seats, but like it was just a free for all inside. So I found myself a little seat around the side by myself, and just as the I mean, the Nightcrawler didn't. I actually didn't remember when the Nightcrawler appeared. I mean, I'd recorded it like months and months ago, and anyway, so I was going. I wonder, am I in this one? I don't know. First, but it doesn't matter because like what happened was like the cheers that went out from the audience and from all the people there, and I was right on the side, so I got to see the screen and sort of watch like this throng of people just like thrilled and emotional and cheering at all the credits and I went, oh my God, well, this is big, this is special. And you know, Nightcrawler was my first animated audition. Like it was it's one of those sorts of things. And I've told the story a number of times, but it was literally I walk in there and I did it. So I worked 2 days in the 90s on this show, right? And now, of course, the character's being, you know, broadened and written so many amazing things I get to say but just the crowd reaction, that was, I think, the thing that really hit me on that opening night of it. And then, of course, to see everybody, you know, to see everybody I haven't seen in 30 years and meet all you new kids. And it's lovely.
That premiere was such an experience. Like it's been wild to see the difference, but I was not in the original cast. I'm really, really lucky to be part of this cast. But I was on other shows a little bit later in the 90s. And yeah, if your show was a hit, someone told you because the executive said so.
Right.
You know, and in this experience, like we get to see it in real time. And it's, I remember like we recorded it and then there was so much care taken in the recording of that, you know, in the beginning to really get the tone right. And there's still care. There's care on every single episode, but like they really took their time. And to see that unfold, to see how it plays out in the world, and then you know, for us, we record it and then we're on with the next thing we got to do. We're onward and upward, and then to just start seeing the promotional stuff, I'm like, wow, they're really throwing down on this show. Disney's really like Marvel. Everybody's really behind this. This is wild. Okay, and then I didn't realize there was a premiere. I just saw something about a fan event, and I was actually booked to be somewhere else that day. And then I got a phone call from someone at Marvel about another thing related to the show. And they mentioned in passing, are you going to the premiere? And I said, I don't think, is there one? And they're like, yes, it's this thing. I was like, oh, they said, yes, it was worded in this way, but that's the premiere. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I canceled the other thing and I jumped down to LA for the premiere. And I was so excited. It sounds like a dork, but I was so excited to see all you guys. You know, it was really neat. I was like, oh my God, wow, this is cool. But I was so struck by I don't even want to call it the fans, because these are all like, they're us. They're like just working people like us, and they happen to love this show this much. I'm like, it's a different experience. It's really cool. Like our team that created this show, they grew up on the show. Like a huge percentage of them grew up watching this show, and now they're making this show. And like I've never seen anything like it. It's amazing. I'm just like, wow, this is quite an awesome experience.
Yeah, you can tell that there is so much love that the people that made X-Men 97, every single person that worked on it has an absolute love of the X-Men and the original animated series, and also the comics. And just a quick 10-second anecdote. Adrian, you were talking about earlier about your Nightcrawler scenes. There was a scene where Nightcrawler and Wolverine team up together and fight. And they're kind of protecting Rogue, and this is in season 1. I watched it, and as an adult, freaked out so much I ran and got my kid, and I got my wife, and I was like, you have to sit down and watch this, because this is what my brain played for me as a kid when I watched these fight scenes. It was perfect. It was beautiful. And the show is filled with moments like that I think anyone who's a fan probably lost their collective minds. Like it was just a perfect little scene there.
Yeah.
Well, that was the first bit of the animation that I saw. And I've told the story a few times. I'll tell it very quickly that I'd gone in to do ADR in that scene because they needed some heavy breathing, grunts, and fight noises. And so I saw the little bit where the breathing was, and I was like, "Oh wow, this looks incredible," I said. And then I think Meredith said, "Have you not seen any yet?" And I said, "No." And it was, "Would you like to?" So that whole sequence, I was like, "Yes." And the whole sequence was the first thing that I'd seen. I had this kind of, it's hard. It's this emotional moment. Like, I'm pretty sure I had a little tear welling up in one of my eyes, and my heart was beating. I had my hand on my chest. I was going, "Oh my God." and then I became aware. I was like, I'm being embarrassing. And then I sort of became aware of my shoulder through the Zoom screen, but that they were all looking at me because they were fans of the show, and they were also geeking out that I was getting to see what they had done and that I was loving it too. So there's this incredible kind of meta moment, and it was just a peak voice actor, It was like experience. It's fun.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Let's dive a little bit into season 1 stuff. There were a lot of shocking moments in season 1. There are a lot of big twists and turns. There's a lot of really fantastic stuff pulled from the books. Which moments in season 1 really stood out to you as being sort of the most monumental or the most shocking? What are some of your favorite season 1 memories when you first got those scripts? And there's going to be spoilers for some reason you're watching this and you don't know what happens in season 1. We're diving in, so this is your spoiler alert.
Oh, my favorite, I mean, Goblin Queen. Come on. How often do you get to do that? Like, be yourself as a clone, and then be yourself as evil. And let's all fight each other, shall we? Like, oh my God. And then the baby, Jesus, that just, I couldn't get through the session. I had all these Kleenex here. I was like, oh my God, because I'm a mom and I can't even talk about it. Like, geez, to give away your kid, like that just, it killed me. There is one other moment. Oh, here we go. I don't know if I can tell this story.
No.
So my father passed in the pandemic, and he was in Labrador, and we bolted out of LA and landed here on Vancouver Island, and we were still under quarantine from the initial flight, and so couldn't go to Labrador where he was. So, and nobody could go because nobody could go anywhere. And so he had some strokes, and we walked him through the end of his life virtually. And in that process, I had a moment where, you know what? I'm not even going to get into that story. I had an experience with my father as he was transitioning out that Bo captured and put it in X-Men near the end. Spoiler alert, there's a moment where Cable gets to see his father's eyes, and his father and someone, I can't remember who because I cried so bad. These are yours now. That was directly taken from my experience with my father passing, and that will never leave me. Yeah, it was
so beautiful.
Deadly.
I had no idea. That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Wow.
Didn't know. Wow.
Yeah, that
show has so many
scene got me
personal
too.
things. Is wonderful. Wow.
Yeah, I want to go back and see that moment again for that context. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's
I'm
amazing.
actually rewatching it tomorrow with my friend and his son. I'm rewatching the last 5 episodes. So now I love it. I know these little nuggets of information.
I dropped when that happened. I just dropped and stopped. It was beautiful.
Wow.
Matthew, we haven't heard much from you yet.
I am. It's 2:30 in the morning where I am, so I am not as quick-witted as I usually pretend to be, which is why every time I think of something to say, we're like 7 minutes past that moment, and it would be weird if I just launched in with an answer to a question.
I think that should be your thing. 7 minutes later.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Where are you? Where are you calling in from?
He's in the UK?
I'm in Australia.
Oh,
wow.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Oh, honey.
I'm in Melbourne. So
that's awesome.
So,
and Jen, I had a bunch of people this weekend come in to see me who were so excited because they'd seen you a few months ago when you were here.
Yeah.
So at first, a couple of people wrote things in. I'm like, when did you see Jen? And they said, and then person was like, well, she was here like 3 months ago. I was like, oh, right, of course, that's brilliant, amazing.
Yeah, I was there in April.
So everybody else needs to come to Australia because people would like to see you here.
Yes.
So
yes, indeed.
Call us.
Indeed. Yeah, right. I think bring us all down together.
Oh, that'd be
You know,
fun.
maybe on a boat
On
with
a
some
boat.
cocktails.
A long trip.
X-Men themed boat ride.
There you go.
X-Men cruise, let's go.
Oh my gosh. I'm
X-Men
there.
Cruise, that's a good one.
That
Yeah.
would be. Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
Disney
Wouldn't it
do
be?
cruises. It's not impossible.
And
Yeah.
we could do X-Men the musical.
Oh, down. I'm ready.
Oh
No,
no,
let's
no,
not say
no.
we did.
We can do it. We can do it.
So does anyone else have any shocking scenes from season 1 that really stand
You
out?
know I
before-
do.
Oh yeah, what was yours, sir? What could that
You
be?
know I do. You know what's. I feel like this is pointed at me, where I'm just like, yes, I lost my mind. I mean, spoilers, but when I got the show, they were like, I was, ecstatic. I was like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. This is my dream character, dream everything. And they're like, not so fast. Enjoy it while you got it, because we're killing you off immediately. And I was like, what? And so, yeah, that whole thing was like, the only way I could describe it is parallel to mourning, but mourning something that isn't real in the same way that you mourn a family member or something. It was this nebulous, ethereal mourning where I couldn't quite describe. And also there's this feeling of like, oh, boo-hoo, like, how dare you mourn this this fictional thing that is not real. But it hurt. It was very, very painful. And I had to sort of come to terms with the fact that it was like, here's your dream job. Never mind. So, and of course, I assume we all know who I'm talking about and what I'm talking about. But yeah, that was tough. But it was done in a way that I think was so smart and beautiful and elevated the character that I was like, oh, right on. Once I read the script, I was like, yeah, this is worthwhile. This makes sense and is an appropriate sacrifice. And I was thrilled once I read it. But in the beginning, I was like, can't we just, what about Morph? We killed him the first one. We could do it again. Why not? No, I'm kidding. Nightcrawler. We haven't even gotten a Nightcrawler yet. No, I was sad, but also like, all right, this is gonna be awesome. And then once we saw the animation, it's funny, like Adrian said, where they're like, oh, you haven't seen the animation yet? When you're in an ADR session, and it's like, how would I have seen the animation? Like, I don't. How could I? You guys are the ones that gatekeep that stuff. Yeah. So they showed me it, and I was like, this is all the stuff with the motorcycle and all that stuff just blew my mind. So it was a worthy sacrifice, but also a challenging twist to have to cope with mentally.
Right.
Yeah.
You took one for the team, pal.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
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 I was heard they were. I was told they were. They had several other possibilities of killing people. They decided to go with you. So.
Oh,
Yeah, I know. That feels even better to hear.
Yeah.
But Guy, what I did here was that they made that decision after casting everyone by just deciding we're done with AJ.
Yeah.
If this is an AJ decision,
Yeah. This is a
he's
personal
awake
attack.
Just-
now.
I didn't want to say it, but
Super personal. Yeah.
I survived because I'm delightful.
it's a personal
Can I
show.
tell-
That's
I-
what it is.
They saw that I
I was a warning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were giving me a heads up. They're like, you are on borrowed time, so behave. I was like,
Yeah, you were put on speedos, okay? Don't forget that.
Yeah.
I mean, I would
is it weird that I insisted that we performance capture that scene?
Oh, Magneto Speedos.
Yeah.
I would not dare to ask about season 2. I know these things are very buttoned up, but I
Mm-hmm.
will say, as a lifelong comic book fan, normally when characters die in a very dramatic way, they find some way to come back. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we see Gambit again in the future in
They
some
better.
capacity.
AJ, yeah.
I think we will. I know many people in my immediate life that were in tears over that scene, and it was a beautiful scene, so well performed by everybody involved, and the reaction of the whole cast and hearing about Gambit's demise in that scene was just like, A+, 10 out of 10, amazing, just amazing work all around, and it was completely shocking and so wonderful at the same time. So that was really just something next level stuff. I have a question for Allison. I recently went back, and this is going to sound super nerdy, but like, I read all those books as a kid, and I went back as an adult and I read all the X-Men comics from 1975 to 1991 straight. And it dawned on me how incredibly amazing and powerful the character of Storm is. and in my personal opinion, I think she has been the best leader of the X-Men historically. I think she has the best track record. I think she's the most noble. What is it like portraying that character for so many, young people over the years?
It's wonderful. You mean you seldom get a role that you we don't always get superheroes, and again, representation matters. And I did want to say earlier, I mean, not only is she noble and smart and dignified and regal and a leader and you can count on her, but she's a Black woman and it counts. And some of my best moments at these cons that I've started to go to is when folks from my cultural community come up to me and tell me what it means to them. And so it's been fantastic. I mean, I'm lucky. I've had a chance to play quite a few sort of queens and strong women, and so that's always gratifying. But Storm is special. And Storm is special, not just because she's a fantastic X-Men, but I am always taken with the stuff that she has, this magical heritage as well. And if anybody ever asked what was the storyline that I would love to see happen at some point, when we're doing like season 7 or something,
Yeah.
sometime when in season 7, I really want this woman to go back and to explore this ancestry and the fact that her powers, come not just from the sort of errant gene in her DNA, but also from a long line of strong witches, and that it's part of her ancestry. It's not an aberration. It is part of her heritage, and so that feels really really cool, and it's really good to pass it on. It felt great in the 90s, when I didn't even know what this meant to so many people, and it feels really good now. I did a con in Brooklyn, New York. And that was the most wonderful experience that I have ever had in my life, bar none. And I've had a couple of good experiences.
Wow.
It was just the folks who came up, the warmth, the appreciation, the acknowledgement, what it meant to people, to the kids, grown men with tears in their eyes, the people who passed. And this is the one that got to me. People would just pass by, and it'd be like a Black couple, and one of them would look over, they catch your eye, and they just mouth,
Oh wow.
Mm.
and I know what they're talking about. And they know I know what they're talking about. And it was a moment, and you go, okay, cool.
Mm.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's meant a lot to me, and it continues to mean the world to me to be able to
That's
play this role.
wonderful. Well, I think all of us say thank you for your portrayal, and it was a big deal for a lot of people, and it continues to be a big deal. And you're absolutely fantastic in the role. And I hope you do get 7 seasons, so I can keep watching, and my son can keep watching, and we can all keep watching, and maybe we can do more of these chats every year. I know.
I have Ash,
real quick,
I have
yeah, go ahead, real quick,
quick story that I remembered. So Allison in Brazil, one of my cousins, she started watching, and she's such a fan, and so when the episode comes that Storm, loses her powers, she messages me on Instagram very angrily, and she's like, "Gee, how come she lost her powers?" And I was like, "Yo, I'm just an actor, okay? I don't know, like
I
it
know.
was so wild. So anyway,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely. I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
JP has to take off. He has a prior engagement. You have anything to say before you head out? Thank you so much for hanging out, by the way. It's been such a pleasure.
Yeah, no, thanks for having. It's always great hanging out with this crew of people. And Allison, I just wanted to say that I have so many queer people that I have talked to, Black queer people of color, queer people in general, who have resonated with Storm for decades. And your appearance and your performance just means so much, like across communities. So thank you.
Thank
Also,
you.
to shill, my signing is next
Yes.
Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So go to streamily.com/X-Men, X-Men 97 or X-Men? X-Men 97, right?
X-Men
Yeah.
97.
Go to Streamly.
X-Men 97.
And yeah. And I hope to meet everybody. I'll also be in person at San Diego Comic-Con, FlameCon in New York, and DragonCon in Atlanta. So I hope to see you then.
JP, can I ask you really quickly? You run a beautiful community for voice actors in this space. Can you just say something about that for people out there looking for something like that?
Sure, yeah. I'm the founder of QueerVox, which is a nonprofit academy and community for LGBTQIA plus voice actors. We do classes and we have an online talent directory, and we also do advocacy within the industry so that people know how to cast our community. Visit queervox.org or QueerVox Academy on Instagram or Twitter, and we would love to have anybody be involved. Thanks, Jen.
Thanks, Sonny. Yeah, it's just so important.
Amazing.
Yeah,
All right.
thank
Thanks,
you.
JP.
Great seeing you all. See you all soon.
You.
Cheers.
See
San
you
Diego.
soon. See you in a couple weeks.
See you,
Yeah,
JP.
Bye, sweetie.
All right, so I have a question for Matthew, who is half asleep in Australia. My question for Sleepy
Two
Matthew.
espressos in, I'm here at the moment.
Oh, wow.
There are these two big arguing philosophies in X-Men, right? There's Xavier's dream and there's Magneto's dream. Do you personally believe that Magneto is right, or do you think that that Xavier's right?
Ooh.
I disagree with the fundamental point. I don't think they have different dreams. I think what's fascinating is they have the same dream. They have different ways of getting there, and their ways of getting there are dictated by, in a fascinating way, are dictated by what their actual abilities are and their experiences. So Charles can look at even somebody doing something horrific and can actually see that there's good in that. That's what he wants to try and appeal to. Eric doesn't have that particular power. Eric's power, Eric is basing everything on his actual lived experience, and so he's approaching it from that direction. So what's always been fascinating to me is that they have the exact same dream, which is that they want people to be able to live and exist as they are without being forced to change who they are for other people to make them comfortable. How they're trying to get there, just as it comes from opposite directions, which is why they remain close despite this age-old battle. And so in the dream, the that they have, same. And so in that regard, Magneto is right, because I think that what they're both aiming for is the right thing. And I think that it's difficult because Charles can see the good in people that is there, that may be hidden, or maybe a tiny sliver that he's grasping for. I think that Eric's approach is the realistic one, because everybody's heard the story. Everybody's heard the story or the anecdote or whatever about this serial killer who bred puppies or something or other. Like there's something that we see as redeeming or human in almost everybody, no matter who they are, what they do. But in that regard, yes, I think that Magneto. I might be biased.
Maybe.
Well, that was a fantastic for 2:00 in the morning on the other side of the world. That is like an A-tier response to that question.
Yeah.
And that's that's like one of the big fundamental arguments of the X-Men, and they go back and forth forever on who's right. But it was really interesting to see that dynamic sort of being explored during this first season, and I'm sure that we're going to get to see even more of that dynamic in upcoming seasons as well. So awesome answer, man. That's really great. Guy. So this season we had this unique perspective of Sunspot really kind of struggling with him being a mutant, and also his relationship with his family in regards to his him being a mutant. What was that challenge like for you, playing a hero that didn't want to be a hero? I know that's a broad question, so I apologize, but
yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, I never heard it worded that way. I don't think I thought of it in that sense, but look, it was again, it was just so surreal for me as well. You know, growing up watching the show, I did not know Roberto da Costa. Did not know Sunspot. You know, I'm a very ashamed to say, but that's the truth. And even when I auditioned, I think it actually said Roberto da Costa, and I had no clue. Like, I think I'm the only one through the audition process had no idea it was X-Men '97 at any point until I got the email that I was booked, and I didn't even know that X-Men '97 was coming back. So anyway, I guess it worked in for me in the sense of not having any pressure or anything like that. But I mean, it was such a wonderful process. I thought it was as I started, you know, to do my research and know him from the comics and everything I could find online, and my main research source was the database that, you know, Marvel has. And you know, it was nice to see, you know, some of the you know, liberties and changes that this version has, and you know, I could relate in some way, and so it was cool to explore, you know, some of those issues and interpersonal relationships with, you know, family and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was a great scene with Roberto and his parents, and like it kind of, you never knew which direction the conversation was going to go, or sort of what stance the parents were going to have, and there were some nice twists and really wonderful writing in that scene as well. So, great work
Thank
on
you.
your end. It was really cool
Thank
to
you.
see the character grow and change over the season. And his decision to join Magneto near the end was like, I was like, oh
Yes,
man, here
Yeah.
we go.
I really enjoyed that moment. I really did.
That was a really
awesome.
cool moment. It was a really cool
Yeah.
moment.
Speedo, and he's like, there we go.
Yes, the
Yeah.
Speedo.
Yeah, right. That's my bad for still on the way.
He's just there for the speedo.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
gravitational control. Lenore, Rogan this season. Oh, God, it's so weird to be talking to you because, like, I'm going to embarrass the crap out of myself. I remember, this is a true story. I'm just going to do it. I remember being like 8 years old and sitting on my grandparents' porch and doing one of those like hugs that you hug yourself and like you like fake like kiss someone, and I was like fake kissing Rogue at the age of 8. So I'm just gonna throw myself on the train tracks and tell you thanks for that. I appreciate
Absolutely
that.
amazing.
Yeah, it's 100% true. I don't know why it's such a vivid memory, but why not? You know,
I still do that. So
yeah, here we go.
Me too.
Thank
So, oh, you're very well, thank you. Hey there. So Lenore, this season Rogue, she really walks this fine line between, I don't want to say hero and villain, but she is like sort of on the verge of going back to her old ways of villainy with like the Brotherhood. And what was it like playing her? So because you know, in the original series she went through a lot, but in this you can just tell she's on the verge of cracking for almost the entirety of the season. What was that like to play her in such a raw state?
It was an amazingly, it was very therapeutic. Anybody who's gone through any major trauma in their life knows that when you're in the thick of it, it feels like you are free falling and there's nothing to hang on to anymore. Like nothing. So I had been feeling some, I had some post-traumatic stress disorder. I'd been diagnosed about a year before I started the show because I was a female politician. I had given up acting for a while, for 12 years, to become a female politician, elected representative. And in the last year of my politician life, we had the pandemic, and so everybody was under lockdown in a state of emergency. And then we suddenly had this terrible mass shooting that happened in my community during the pandemic, where a crazed denturist went ballistic and killed 22 innocent people over 150 kilometers of area in 13 different communities. And it was insane. And I was asked, is it too soon to talk about more gun control? And I said, it's never too soon to talk about more gun control if it's going to save lives. And I was targeted then, and I started getting death threats. And I had death threats for about a year and a little bit. And I had someone that was stalking me who moved to my street, who was writing on social media that he wanted my head on a platter. I had people saying the streets were going to run with blood. They could find out where I lived, all of that. And so when I lost that election that last time, I'd been in for 12 years. I really didn't know what I was going to do. And I felt like I was free falling. And my heart and my body was going a million miles an hour, but with nowhere to go physically. And so I utilized all of that energy and what I remembered of those feelings in my performance in season 1 to try and show how Rogue must be feeling through all of the different traumatic things that happened to her. So in that sense, it was a great relief for me to be able to put that energy into something beautiful and creative. And to be honest, it really helped. It helped me to heal. And hopefully my performance also helped other people feel their own feelings, because many people have been going through traumatic stuff over the last number of years with the pandemic and wars and all these terrible things that they're seeing on television and around the world. So I just hoped that it would help other people heal. And also it helped me heal. So, thanks for asking that question. I really appreciate it.
Wonderful. I'm sorry that you had to go through all of that. That is pretty intense. And we could definitely, I'll speak for the community at large. We could feel that in your performance. Like the performance was just unbelievable. And, like one of my favorite characters of all time, and seeing your performance was just like, just wonderful.
I mean, I do have to say that the part where Remy died, obviously I also was remembering my young niece who had just passed away at 17 of cancer during this whole time while I had post-traumatic stress disorder and was getting death threats. I was dealing with that at the same time. So all of that grief was in that performance in episode 5, but then the rage kicked in for episode 7.
Wonderful rage.
I want to shout out Lenore too, because politics is no friggin' picnic, and actually getting things done is I don't know how it happens, but Lenore got something done for all of us in Canada that is amazing. She got a bill passed that is huge, and thank you, Lenore.
I appreciate that, Jen. It's so nice to have you here with us.
Across multiple parties too.
Yeah. Like
the
no
only way
small
you can
feat.
get things done.
Very important environmental bill.
What a
Huge
concept.
bill.
Real life superheroes doing superhero stuff.
Amazing.
Let's jump over to sorry, go ahead.
No,
I was just saying the beauty of art when it mirrors life is just
right.
incredible.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, it's good when it mirrors it in a good way, right?
Yeah,
you get the good mirror.
Right.
Isaac.
Yes.
I know you are a big fan of the X-Men.
Yes, I am.
I want to hear I just want to hear a little bit about your journey, not only into being cast, but also sort of your take on the enigmatic character of Bishop, because he is one of the most mysterious, coming from the future and having knowledge of what is supposed to happen to the X-Men, but then also having the ability to modify the past in a way. So what is your take on this mysterious character, and what's it like for you to play him? Because I know you, and I know that you probably lost your mind.
Yeah, I still am. I'm keeping it together right now, but there's a lot happening under the surface that you can't see. It was funny. I was going to dovetail off of the episode 5 amazingness, because I just watched it as a fan. Basically, I'm not part of that episode, but just to sit back and see the incredible art created. That's what I say to people. I'm like, this show is a piece of art. To go watch and appreciate it for what it is. Amazing. But the funny part from my experience is I got many texts and messages from friends saying, "Where were you?" Like in episode 5, like, you could have helped everybody. And I'm like, guys, I didn't create it. I didn't write it, but I'm glad you're so into it, but I'm sorry I wasn't there. But so that was fun. But my experience has been really overwhelmingly, I've been just overwhelmingly grateful, is the best word I can give it, just because I've been a huge fan for such a long time. And when I discovered Marvel and I discovered these characters, to be part of it is still something that I've accepted it partially, but not like I haven't fully like realized that I'm here. But like I said earlier, I'm mostly watching it as a fan, and that I get to call all of you guys my colleagues and, you know, people I get to work with is so incredible. And to play someone like Bishop has been a very unique experience because he is sort of an elusive character. Like he's kind of in and out in these very interesting ways, and there's a lot of things that he's doing, a lot of things he's trying to do. But this is a kind of there's an attachment that I made to him that I didn't really realize until a little bit later after we'd recorded and after the episodes came out, and I was thinking about it with my own experience. And this is completely, I think this is a really cool thing to feel, which is I myself am, it's going to connect, I promise, but I myself am half black, half white. So by definition, I've never fit into any community myself. And so I have grown up with that idea of, well, I'm not enough of this or not enough of that, or I'm trying to be more of this, trying to be more of that. So that's been kind of my own journey of identity. But I realize there's sort of a parallel to Bishop in that he is constantly a man out of time. So by definition, he doesn't fit into any community either. You know, he's trying to do so many things and trying to fix all these problems and trying to warn everybody about what's going to happen and trying to be there when he can. But there's really no place that he's at home. And so once I figured that out, I was like, oh, there's a center for the character that I can really attach to. On top of which, a lot of my history is a big mystery to me, and I'm still figuring that out. And I'm still trying to figure out through my own discovery of like what happened on with specifically my dad's side of the family, the black half of my identity, like what happened there, what went on, how did I get here? And I don't really know anything about that. And there's another part of Bishop that I want to explore more and find out more, like what happened with him. How did he get to where he is? And he has to do all these important things without knowing a lot of where he came from. So the whole experience has been weirdly personal. After a while, after I got like into the character more, I was like, oh, this is like, there's a lot that I can attach to here. So discovering that and getting to play with that, and then being part of this incredible team, all of that sort of mixed together has been a really unique experience. I hope that answers the question.
No,
but
man, that is a beautiful answer to that question. And
Can
you
I
know, we're so please jump in. Yeah.
So I just got to say, we're so happy to have you, Isaac.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
happy. And you know, this is a family, and I feel like we are all family here. And you know, you belong, and you're one of us. You're part of the X-Men.
One of us. One of us.
Oh, it's very sweet. Thank you.
I've just been so amazed. Like I remember at the opening, the fan event at the beginning. I just remember going up to like finding Matthew and finding anybody I could who was in the new voice cast, because I thought, my God, everyone is amazing in this. And then I got to meet the animators and go, my God, you guys are doing such amazing work. And they're looking back at us going, you guys are doing such amazing work. You know, that everybody on the screen here and everybody who's not on the screen are, I mean, it's such, I mean, I've been an actor, and many of us here have, for many, many decades now. And to be in such a perfect storm, pardon me, Allison, of talent,
She is a perfect storm.
of talent and giftedness and good hardness is such it's a privilege. And you know, Isaac, we're delighted to have you. And I found you at the screening.
Yes.
Like,
That was great. Yes.
And you're
It's easy to spot. You had the Bishop M on your.
I did. Yeah, I went full out.
Right?
I was like, should I do this? I was like, there's not gonna be enough time to do this. I gotta go all out.
I just bring out little Alain with me everywhere. Little Alain or everywhere, like Claire, who does stuff.
He's great.
Fantastic stuff. Anyway.
Yeah, but to Adrian's point, though, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I want to shout out so loudly the writers.
Yes.
You know, and
Yes.
Meredith Lane, our voice director. Like, she creates this space that we get to do, like, just go crazy. And because she's got us, she's got the boundaries there, she's got the ear there, she's got the guidance there, and like, just this team is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more.
Seconded.
As a fan, it's like
Yeah.
it
Not
is
to
absolutely
mention,
perfect.
like the art, right? You know,
Oh my God.
is drawn, and the fact that these days they can make our faces look like we have more emotion too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They can make that much more specific rather than in the old days they were kind of like You know,
Yeah.
it moved, but the rest of it didn't move too much.
Yeah, but that allowed us to update our acting too. Then we could update the acting to that more subtle 2024 kind of acting. It was, oh God. And you know what killed me? At the premiere, we're watching it. I never have time to watch what I do. I was like, oh right, right, that happened. You know, because I'm super squirrel. And I'm watching it, and the animation is so beautiful and so specific. Like you said, Lenore, like the faces are so reflecting humanity so beautifully. And then when we walked, it was like wooden legs. I'm like, oh my God, they kept the wooden legs. It's so great. It was so awesome. And I hope that was intentional. It looks so good. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. So we cruised through so much.
Yeah.
I do want to have time to go through some line readings just for the fans. If you guys wouldn't mind sticking around a little bit longer, unless you got to go, you got to go.
I've got like 5 extra minutes. And
all
then
right.
You guys can carry on without me.
We can do 5 minutes. So what we did here, if you were watching, we have some lines from the show. I sent them out, but we're going to do something a little different this time. We are going to have everyone read different lines from their characters, and there is no rhyme or reason to this. This is just going to be pure chaos for a few minutes, but you're going to get to hear, you know, Rogue being read by Magneto and so on. So it's going to be absolutely ridiculous. So does everyone have the lines that I sent out is the question.
Got them right here.
Awesome. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to start off with Bishop's line, but let's have AJ read Bishop's line as Gambit.
As Gambit. Oh,
It's
funny because I've said to Isaac, I was like, we have very similar voices.
We do, yeah.
Our conversational voice and then what we do in our range, we have
just one tone when we talk. There's no
exactly.
Just a hum in the background. Yeah.
So AJ's gonna try to sound like Bishop. Is that what it is?
No, I'll get canceled if I do that. I'm gonna do it again. Is that's what we're doing? That's the idea.
Yeah, that's the idea. Like
no one's getting canceled today.
Okay, all right. Oh boy, now the pressure's on. All right.
Guys, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to run. So I'm just gonna make my exit here. I just want to say this has been absolutely fantastic. I'm going to be doing my live stream signings on Friday, July 26th. Yes. The 26th of this month on Friday at about 7:45 in the evening. So get your prints at streamily.com/xmen97, and I'll be in San Diego, and I'm gonna see you guys.
See you soon.
Bye,
Alice. Bye, Alice. I'm looking forward to
Thank
meeting
you.
Bye.
Enjoy the chickens.
All right, now I gotta follow up. She couldn't stand me doing Bishop. All right, I'll do it this way. All right.
I can't be with this.
All right. Luckily, this ain't our first time at the X-Men Are Dead rodeo. But it's less. But I think that's a typo. It's less of a question of where and more when. Someone or something yanked our friends through time, and now we gotta go rescue the X-Men.
So good. So good. And that reminds me, I'm gonna get a little addy for a second because I could just listen to you talk all day. If y'all want video shout outs, they can do that on Streamily too. So anyway, get that because that was good. That was good.
People make weird requests though. That's the thing. Like, can you have him do it? I'm like, no, I can't.
Yeah, I say no to stuff all the time. Like, no.
Yeah, you can't do that. Okay, so the next is nice. I love this exchange between Storm and Jean. So as Jean, let's do Lenore as Rogue doing Jean's line.
Okay.
And as Storm, Jennifer, if you wouldn't mind being Storm.
Hey, okay, but I'll do it as Jean.
Yes, as Jean.
Oh God, I love this mashup. Okay, here we go. Here.
Well, sugar, make the mind your weather, sister.
And them, whether your mind.
I love it. I love it.
So cool.
All right. Isaac, you are in the seat for Magneto's line.
Okay. All right.
I am trying to do better. Do not make me let you down.
I love it. Oh, now this line I put in here selfishly because I still quote this line to this day. Since the first animated series came out, the line is, "You look more nervous than a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs." I still say it, and people look at me like, "What are you, crazy?" I'm like, "You don't understand. Like, I played that episode 6,000 times."
But every now and then someone looks at you and goes, "Oh!"
I understand exactly what you're talking about. So, Adrian, if you wouldn't mind doing Rogue's famous line.
Sister. Okay.
Brother.
My sister, you look more nervous than a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs.
Oh, you just made my week. That is ridiculous.
I love that.
All right. So the next is a storm line. And we're going to ask Guy to do this line.
Oh.
No, I'm putting you on the spot. I hate to do it to you.
All right. Kara, what are demons but reflections of our fears and shame?
It's good. Such a good line.
Yeah.
All right. So the next is an exchange between Morph and Magneto. We are going to have, who wants to be Morph? This is hard because JP's gone. Isaac, you want to be Morph?
Yeah. Sure.
All right. Isaac, be Morph. And AJ, why don't you be Magneto? As Gambit, brain soup. What you know what I'm trying to say.
Wait, hold on. I stopped. Morph and Magneto. There we go. Okay.
You got it?
You got it? Okay.
Whoa. Someone's daddy didn't get him a pony for his sweet 16.
My parents perished when I was a child.
That exchange is just
Our
so
poor writers.
I know. I laughed so hard when I probably shouldn't have laughed at that scene. Next
JP's
exchange.
delivery is so perfect.
Oh, it is so wonderful.
God, he's so good.
Okay, we're almost done, so we can probably get through all these before everybody has to take off. But the next exchange is between Gambit and Nightcrawler. Why don't we have Lenore be Gambit's lines as Rogue?
Nice.
And Jennifer, why don't you be Nightcrawler, Jean as Nightcrawler?
Okay.
All right. Well, scoundrels like me, we don't get no white picket reward. We too busy for love, sugar. Busy sinning.
Well, there is no love without sin. Love is best measured in what we forgive.
I'm taking notes.
I love it. All right. So here we go. We have next is
I want Magneto. I want to hear this from Magneto so bad.
Oh, the
the storm line.
Oh,
yeah, that'd be great.
So Matthew, you go ahead and be Storm.
Okay.
Rogue. Guy, I'm gonna put you on the spot for this Rogue line. There you go.
Let's do it.
All right. Storm, mistress of the elements, commands you to release that child.
Lighten up with the speeches, sugar.
That's one of the classics. I love it. All right, so let's skip down to this Rogue line. This one's so heartbreaking. Jennifer, would you mind being Jean as Rogue in this scene?
As Morph or Rogue?
Rogue.
So Jean as Rogue for You Light Up?
Yes.
Okay. You light up everything you touch, but never me.
That very well could be like a Madeline line too.
Yeah. Totally.
Madeline, by the way,
Totally.
Madeline just gets the short end of the stick. And
Jean.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Madeline's some love, poor thing. All right, so here is I love this Goblin Queen line. You know what? I'm gonna let's do Lenore as Rogue as the Goblin Queen, channeling some of that rage from earlier. Yes.
I am beyond Jean Grey, beyond the X-Men. I am scorn and fury, forged in righteous brimstone. I am the Goblin Queen.
Woohoo!
Yes.
I love it. I love it. And last but not least, we have a line from Sunspot, but let's have AJ as Gambit as Sunspot.
All right. You're getting the big ones. All right.
Some sort of solar energy. Still figuring it out. Makes me strong, though. Real strong. Whenever I do this, it just reminds me that I'm different, that I'm lying to them. Being X-Men Jubilee, I don't even want to be myself.
Oh.
Clap.
So good.
Y'all are
Well,
all so talented.
Yes, so much fun.
So
guys, you
fun.
guys, my
You're pretty good
God.
at this stuff, you
So
guys.
much fun.
Who would have thought about doing it for a living? Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Right? You should do this more often.
Well, thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart. I know everyone watching is very incredibly thankful that you guys took the time to do this.
Thank you.
Oh, you're very
Thank you,
welcome. This
Ash.
was like a highlight of so many years. So thank you so much. It's been absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
Most of the people here are going to be having signings. So Jennifer, would you mind kind of breaking that down a little bit?
Yeah. We're signing through Streamly. The link is here, and I think they're posting it at the video. I'm signing off camera, but a lot of us are signing live. And let's just shout out when we're signing and where you can find us. I'm signing off screen the week of like the 22nd of July. So get your stuff in before then, because the shop will close. My shop personally. Everybody else will they'll decide if they're keeping theirs open or not. You can find me on Instagram at jhalegram, on Twitter at jhaletweets, and you can always find me at acting.skillshub.life, the site that I founded for voice actors at all levels. We got now over 90 coaches, crazy working actors, casting directors, voice directors. So that's where you can find me. Everybody else, what do you got?
Yeah, please.
Okay, well, I'll go. Sorry. So as Nightcaller comes in, then Gambit goes out. No, sorry. I'm at Real Adrian Huff on Instagram and AD800, ADEY 800 on Twitter, which is rarer for me than Instagram. Those are the main two places. I haven't set signing dates yet. I will do that next couple of days. But if you go to the Streamly link, when I figured it out, I'll put it on there.
Awesome. Thanks. AJ?
Yeah, I haven't set a date for signing, and so it's open until probably late July because there's so much stuff going on, but I'll do it. I don't know. It'll just be on my Instagram at AJ Locasio, which is under me right here. I don't really use Twitter that much anymore because it gives me anxiety. So, but yeah, that's it. So it'll be open until I'm done.
Matthew?
I am on Instagram and whatever at MJ Waterson. I am doing a signing, but I don't remember the date because it's now 3 in the morning or 3:40 in the morning. So I will. It's on the Streamly site. You guys organize it better than I ever could, so it's on there, and I apologize for my ineptitude.
All good. Yee, what about
Finally?
Yes, so I also have not set a specific date, but yeah, I'll let you guys know either this weekend or on the week of the 29th. And I'm on Instagram at Guy Agostini1, also Twitter, but I don't use Twitter that much. So Instagram, best bet.
Awesome. What about yourself, Isaac?
So I will kind of like AJ, it'll be open for the next couple weeks, but I'll be signing off camera for that. So go ahead and grab your stuff and I'll sign off camera. You can find me at IRS Voices pretty much on everything, Instagram and Twitter and those things.
Awesome.
But yeah, that's where I'll be.
Awesome.
Our closets line up really nicely. I just want
They
to
do.
They really
It's the same building, actually.
Really,
Yeah. We're in the same room right now.
Yeah. It's the bunk bed. It's
Yeah.
you guys. Yeah. Lenore, what about yourself?
Well, I'm going to be doing a live signing on July the 30th, Tuesday, July 30th at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So yeah, get your prints and stuff, and I'll be happy to sign for you. I'll be in Los Angeles at that time. So looking forward to it. I am on Instagram at Lenore Zan, LENOREZANN, and I'm on Twitter at Zan Lenore. And love you all. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Ash. Thank you so much. Thanks for
everyone.
streaming.
Yes, thank you, Ash.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Jennifer, for putting this
Bye,
together.
you guys.
As well.
Yes.
This is
It was
amazing.
great seeing everyone.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. We were ready.